Greetings and salutations, everyone. Crimson Nero here, and welcome back to Let's Play Pokémon FireRed. In the last episode, we made it to the top of Pokémon Tower and finished up our adventures in Lavender Town. In this episode, we're going to be continuing our way to Fuchsia City, but we're also going to be doing a little bit of cleanup in some earlier areas. So, let's begin. First off, I want to just show that I have gone ahead and leveled up pretty much my entire team up to level 38, which is actually or is it 33? I can't really tell from the numerical values. Yes, it is 38. Awesome. However, as you can clearly see, Haseo has not leveled up nearly that much, because the reason for that is because Haseo is one level away from evolving. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to level him up, and then between episodes, between the end of this episode and the next episode, I'm going to try to get him all set up at level 38 and be with the rest of the team, so he'll be all set to go. First things first, I want to deeply apologize for everything that has been happening over the last few months with me being completely gone. The biggest reason for this is because my computer, in which I record everything with, has had a problem with one of its fans. Luckily, I took it to get repaired. It took like less than 24 hours to get fixed. It's just that I had other obligations that I had to take care of, so I deeply apologize from the bottom of my heart for being absent for so very long. But I'm here now. I'm hopefully going to stick around for a long time and get some more episodes to you guys, considering, FireRed's been going on for almost a year, and that's because of all the different breaks that I've been taking, which, for me, are not always planned breaks. They're more of just things that happen, and then I can't record for a very long amount of time. So, yeah. I'm very sorry about that, but I'm back now. I'm here to kick some butt, and yeah. Pokemon, let's do it. So right now we're in Route 11, which is directly to the west of Vermilion City. Vermilion City. So yeah, I'm just kind of cleaning up these few trainer battles here, and yeah, that's basically what's going down. I'm just trying to level up Haseo here just a little bit. You know, if I actually had a rare candy in my bag, I could actually probably level him up immediately, but hey, that battle just gave me a really good amount of experience, so I might as well continue to take what I can get. I have never lost before! Well, all of that is about to change, and plus, because we're going against a gamer class opponent, he's going to give us tons of money at the end of the battle, which is excellent, because, well, money is important in Pokemon, because I need my healing items. Let's see, just going to spam Nightshade, might as well. Though that could potentially be an issue. Let's just go ahead and get Leviathan out here. So during my time away from recording, I've been playing a lot of games and trying to plan out exactly which ones would be suitable for entertaining Let's Plays. And some of them have just been games that I've just been playing out on a whim. Some of them are games that I just really want to play because, well, they just seem really entertaining. And other games I think, let's see, I want to beat this game just because I need to know what good game design is all about, and playing games, regardless of how good or bad they may be, is a learning experience, however you look at it. As well as I'm also playing games with some friends in my free time, just because it's the summer and we have yet to go back to college. So, I mean, might as well try to play a few games together. Like, a good friend of mine, he and I are currently playing through a number of games, and yesterday we just decided, dude, do you want to play Metal Gear Solid? And we immediately just looked at each other, we're like, yes, totally. We've also been playing things like Tales of Exilia. Let's see, a few other things. I've been playing things like Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, just a whole bunch of cool games. You know what I just realized? I need to turn the option, I go to options and I change the battle scene to be on, because, oops. My bad, sorry about that, guys. That's not what I want to do. So yeah, lots of fun games that I've been playing recently. Some of them are a little bit more entertaining than others. Some of them are a little bit more well-designed than others. But overall, I've been having a fun time with that. But I'm here now. I'm here to play some not Fire Emblem. That's for later. I'm here to play some Pokemon and get closer to finishing this LP up. I'll say it was really close to leveling up here, which is very nice because, oh man, evolutions are fun. Speaking of Pokemon and other things involved surrounding it, so big thing that's happened for me very recently, like within the last week, is that my childhood has just punched me in the face so hard and has come back full force. Now, I'm not that old. I'm 20 at the moment, so like, I'm pretty young. I still remember a lot of things from my childhood, and the fact that I'm having kind of this weird midlife crisis thing right now is kind of weird, but it really isn't a midlife crisis. I should probably rephrase that. Like, I'm a person who has always held my childhood very closely to me, and I love the things, I continue to love the things I loved as a child to this very day, like Pokemon, Digimon, certain anime and manga, just a bunch of different things. But I'll explain all that later, because Haseo is finally evolving! Congratulations! Your Haseo has evolved into a Haunter! Ooh, Shadow Punch. Nice. I feel like getting rid of Confuse Ray. And we learned Shadow Punch. Cool. So yeah, my childhood. So I grew up during the 90s, so and also the early 2000s, but like that was kind of when I was like coming out of my childhood phase. But yeah, so I liked a lot of things that typical 90s kids loved. I liked Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, different anime like Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, Dragon Ball Z, just tons of different things. So like I was into a lot of stuff that was very similar back in the day, and I still love those various things now. It's just that like as time has gone on, I've kind of gradually expanded my horizons and expanded my interests to be more well-rounded, but as well as to advance what I already have known and loved for years. And so this past week, my childhood has just come back full force, and I've wanted to just kind of relive a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I play like almost every single main series Pokemon game that ever comes out, so like that nothing has changed there. But two things that have happened recently have really kind of led to me getting my eye like to reliving my childhood. One thing is that there is a game that came out over the last couple months called J-Stars Victory Versus Plus. It's a giant like 3D fighting game that's a giant collaboration between so many different series and that were featured in the Shonen Jump magazine over in Japan, which is where a lot of our favorite manga and anime really started out. They all started out as manga or comics back out in Japan. Things like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Rurouni Kenshin, Gintama, Yu Yu Hakusho. Just like, if you can think of a big series from Japan, then like I would say maybe 80% of that will have originated as a manga. And so, like, I used to read a whole bunch of manga when I was a kid, and I used to watch a whole lot of anime and play a lot of video games, and none of that has changed. And so when I heard that J-Star's Victory Versus Plus was coming out, I was like, wait, I can play as, like, 50 plus characters from, like, 30 different Shonen Jump series. Most of them I absolutely adore. I was absolutely hooked. I picked up the game earlier this week, and I'm having a really fun time with it. I mean, like, I don't absolutely love every single series that has been featured, or, well, some of them I don't really know a whole lot about because I didn't really read a whole lot of Shonen Jump. I read kind of the individual stories. Like, I wasn't into Shonen Jump, but, like, I had heard of, like, Naruto and One Piece and Bleach and Shaman King and a whole bunch of other series. And, like, some of them I specifically started enjoying them while they were anime and not manga. And some people will say, like, oh, the anime is better, or the manga is better, or you should read both, and you should enjoy both at the same time, stuff like that. And, but, like, for me, like, it doesn't really matter because, like, I'll enjoy what I enjoy, and certain things will really captivate me in certain ways. And so, like, J-Stars came out, and I immediately thought, wow, there are a lot of there are a lot of series that are mentioned here that I absolutely loved watching when I was a kid, when, like, Toonami was on Cartoon Network. And so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna start rewatching some of these old series. And so the first one that I decided to re-indulge myself in is Yu Yu Hakusho. I remembered watching the big tournament saga that they had, like the Dark Tournament or whatever it was called, because that was like a big ways through, and like, but I still remember like key pivotal moments, and I remember really enjoying the overall series for what it is. Like, obviously I was like, what, 6-ish years old, so I was just captivated by, like, wow, cool looking stuff, fighting, awesome, this looks so neat. But looking back at it now, while I'm 20, and I can understand how stories are written and how characters are developed and stuff like that, I'm watching the series again, and I'm just more captivated now because I can understand how, like the whole entire concept of, like, different concepts that I didn't really understand, like loss, of death, of spirit worlds, of all sorts of stuff. And, like, I'm so enticed, and I just really enjoy the series for what it is, probably even more than I used to. And it just goes to show that things may get even better with age. Like, I don't think I appreciated certain series because they were so cool. I just appreciated them because it was something that just interested me, and that there was a lot of action going on. And considering that I was a small child at the time, when they originally aired on Toonami, I was like, wow, this is all really, really cool. But yeah, I'm really enjoying kind of reliving a whole bunch of things from my childhood. And another thing that's going to be going on is that there's a new Digimon game that is going to be coming out for the PlayStation 4 and the PS Vita, and I think the PS3, called Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. And it's a typical RPG. You get certain Digimon that you can level up and fuse together and digivolve and stuff like that. And that it's a very simple combat system, but it looks really, really fun to play, and that's what I really care about, because I haven't really played a whole lot of Digimon games because back in the day when I was super into Digimon, I didn't necessarily have as many consoles or handhelds as I do now. And so, like, I think the only Digimon game that I actually have is Digimon World Dusk for the Nintendo DS. And I really enjoyed that game at the time, but I think I looked back on it kind of recently within the last couple years, and I just thought, you know what, this isn't necessarily what I remember, and so I was kind of void of any sort of like really awesome Digimon games for a while, but now that I have more consoles, I can now kind of go back and figure out exactly what I was missing back when I was a kid. Maybe some things on the PS1 or the PS2, or maybe there were some things that I just didn't get to when I was younger. So, yeah, and also, one thing that's really, really cool about Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth is that the character designs are done by the same person who did the character designs for Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor and Devil Survivor 2, which are some of my absolute favorite games because, well, the Shin Megami Tensei series is one of my favorite series, but it's awesome that, like, I can see artwork and appreciate it for not just being in something I like, but also I can appreciate that it's good artwork. So that's pretty neat. Also, the same artist did Durarara, the manga, so that's really neat. So yeah, just a couple of things that are kind of on my mind, just my childhood just kind of coming back full force, and I'm super glad that I can enjoy it now for multiple reasons rather than just, oh hey, it's colorful, it has a lot of action. Like, I can understand that these characters are a lot more dynamic than I remember them, and so I'm really happy that I can enjoy the series a lot more now because of my learning of how the world works and my experience with my short amount of life that I've gone through so far. So, yeah. What are some big series that you guys really enjoyed as children? Maybe Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh! What are some things that you remember about your childhood? Speaking of things from my childhood, one thing that I really want to do right now is I really want to go back and rewatch a whole bunch of old, or I guess not really old, but I guess it's old is the term I'm going to use, considering I don't have really anything else, but some older TV shows and movies. One in particular that I really want to... One TV show that I really want to watch is the animated Batman cartoon, which I mentioned before as being one of my favorites during Sonic Adventure 2. So I really want to just experience that again because I'm a huge Batman fan, and because of like how Batman has gotten like a huge revival due to the Arkham games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and the most recent Arkham Knight. I really want to just kind of indulge myself in just a ton of Batman related stuff just because, well, it's Batman, he's awesome, he's one of my childhood heroes, and well, because Batman's really, really cool. So that's one thing I really want to watch. Also, because of the new Star Wars movie that's coming out during the holiday season this year, I really want to go back and watch all of the Star Wars films. And one really funny thing that happened recently over the past few days is that I've been watching a lot of Big Bang Theory, which is one of my favorite TV shows because, well, I mean, it's a show that's kind of catered to my demographic, people that are nerdy, who like things like fantasy, science fiction, video games, comics, cartoons, just like a bunch of different stuff. And like, I've been watching a lot of that recently because I've had time on my hands to enjoy it, as well as like they show constant reruns all the time on TV, especially on like TBS and stations like that. And there was one episode that came on recently within the last couple of days that was the main crew watching all the Star Wars films because they were celebrating the holiday May the 4th, as in May the 4th be with you. So, like May the 4th be with you, but it's May the 4th as in the calendar day. So, like, obviously that's kind of a cultural icon that's been around for a while, but I thought it was really, really, like, coincidental that I want to re-experience all the Star Wars films, but also that they were doing the same on the rerun of the episode, and just it was really, really cool to kind of have that coincide. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that's been out there, and I like to experience a lot of different things, different video games. I don't really read a whole lot of books, but I definitely am captivated by a lot of different stories. Like, I mean, I was one of the few, just to tell you, I was one of the very few people in my high school who enjoyed reading Shakespeare and who could understand it, because I'll be the first to admit, Shakespeare is kind of difficult to understand. I get that. I understand that. I didn't go through Hamlet the first time and realizing every little subtle nuance that Shakespeare wrote. But like I enjoy learning more about like different ways that stories can be made through video games, through movies, through plays, and through books, through musicals. I mean, heck, I even went to an opera to see Faust one time, just because like I think it was like a school trip that I went on, but I think it was like not required, I don't think. So that, like, I mean, it just kind of goes to show you that, like, you can be a fan of different things, but you can be captivated by certain things, and then you'll try out new things that you've never even thought about before. Like, I mean, here's a good example. Back when I was a kid, this was during the 90s, and kind of right after, obviously, the 90s came after the 80s, and during the 80s, like, it was kind of a cultural thing to not really be a huge fan of Dungeons and Dragons, and so, like, people thought that, like, those who played Dungeons and Dragons are total nerds, and that nerds are kind of the lower portion of society. Well, now we've kind of gone through a cultural shift where, like, being a nerd nowadays is almost like the popular thing to do. So, I mean, like, you have people online like myself who play video games, and some people even make a living doing that, and just, I mean, like, there's really successful Let's Players out there, like the Game Grumps and Markiplier and PewDiePie, and, you know, all the people that are just super famous on YouTube, and, like, they can actually make a living off of what they do. And, like, I mean, as much as I love playing video games, I also want to create them too. But, like, it's cool that, like, we've seen such a big development in how our society has kind of seen cultural things over the last few decades. But anyways, back to Dungeons and Dragons. When I was a kid, I was grown up on the ideas of, like, oh, if you play Dungeons and Dragons, then you're a total nerd. And I was like, well, I mean, like, I didn't have a problem with being a nerd. I definitely wasn't a jock of any kind, but it was definitely interesting to see how, like, I was raised on the mentality of, like, oh wow, you're a nerd if you play D&D, and yet now, what do I do in my free time now? I play D&D, I play Magic the Gathering, I play video games, I play Yu-Gi-Oh!, I play Pokémon. Like, there's a lot of things that we didn't necessarily consider as being popular back in the day, but now they've come back. I mean, like, I guess kind of things go in and out as fads almost. So, like, I don't know, it's kind of like how you see certain styles of clothing come in and out every once in a while. So, yeah, just, time's weird. I mean, I'm one who can control time, so, like, I mean, I can stop time, I can go back in time, I can fast forward things, but, like, still, I can't really always wrap my head around exactly how time changes everything, because I can see time as a fundamental thing, but I don't exactly see how much of an impact it makes, besides the fact, well, you know, that, I mean, like, time is definitely a thing, especially when you have to think about parallel universes and different timelines and stuff like that, but hey, that's just me trying to keep the flow of time in order, considering some people like to screw it up for me. Nah, I'm just messing around. But yeah, I've always been really fascinated in time travel. I think that's a really complicated yet really cool concept. And every time that I see something kind of new come out of it, I think that it's really, really neat. Speaking of time travel and D&D, I'm actually working on several Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, because that's what I do at college. Is that I participate in a club where we play D&D, and sometimes I'm a player, sometimes I'm a DM or a dungeon master. So I have to sometimes come up with different experiences for people to enjoy and to play in. And one of the different experiences that I'm currently working on is a post-apocalyptic time travel story. So like the players will have to play through the game and figure out exactly how exactly the world ended and how they can go on from there. So a big thing that I'm going to focus on is the time travel aspect, but also the different like multiple paths, because there's also like multiple universe theory, which is all about like, okay, you're at a crossroads in life, which could be as big as like choosing who you're going to save or kill, if this were like a video game or something, or something as simple as like, okay, you have Lucky Charms instead of Fruit Loops for breakfast this morning. You just created two parallel universes just with that decision. One where you decided to go with Lucky Charms, and one where you decided to go with Fruit Loops, or whatever cereal I said. But yeah, just really interesting stuff that's kind of on my mind, and I'm glad that I could just kind of just talk about it for a while with people who might be really interested and who would actually take the time to listen. So if you have been listening and really kind of enjoy this stuff, then awesome. It's nice to know that there are people out there with common interests. So that's really neat. But yeah, we're getting down to the thick of it. So I think after this battle, I think I'm gonna bid you a fond farewell for today. I know I wasn't really reading a whole lot of the character dialogue, but I found it a lot more entertaining to just kind of tell you a little bit about myself. But anyways, so we've talked about a lot today, from anime and manga to time travel to Pokemon to lots of different stuff. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this episode of Let's Play Pokemon FireRed. In the next episode, we're going to be continuing our way over to Fuchsia City and finishing up our multiple paths that we can take to get there. So a little bit of cleanup. So, I'm Crimson Nero. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and until next time, everyone, fare thee well.